What's up, guys? Sandra here from ENE, reporting from Green Dolphin. We're Pistolera. I'm here with Sandra. Just performed. Tell me, I know this is your first time in Chicago. What was the reaction? How do you feel?
I feel really good. I think it was a great first show in Chicago. We opened for Los Amigos Invisibles, who obviously have been here many, many times. So there's a great crowd outside, and anytime we play for a Mexican crowd, they understand our lyrics because we talk a lot about the border and immigration, and they just so they get it. So it was great.
This is new music. Tell us more about your music.
Pistolera was really born out of my kind of longing for my culture because I grew up in San Diego, California, about 10 minutes from the border of to Mexico, and I grew up listening to, cumbia, banda, merengue, pop mexicano, that my mom was always blasting on the living room stereo, but I grew up listening to, American rock as well. Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Nirvana. I went to American rock concerts my whole life. So when I moved to New York in 1999, I felt really far away from my culture, and for the first time, and I was like, where are all the Mexicans? So that's why I started Pistolera, because I wanted to recreate those sounds that I grew up hearing that were really embedded in my head, I realized. So that's why Pistolera was born. It pulls from all of the different sounds that I grew up, listening to.
How important is gender in the music that you play and that you perform?
We are 3 women and 1 guy in Pistolera, and we actually don't think anything of it. We get asked that all the time, like, what is that like, to have 1 guy in the band or to have 3 girls in the band. And the 3 women in Pistolera have been playing music our whole lives, so we don't think anything of it. And, I guess how gender influences the lyrics is that in the songs of Pistolera, the woman always wins. The Pistolera always wins. There's no poor me, it's always like it's very from a very strong feminine perspective.
Tell us more about that. Like, where does that come from? Que la pistolera siempre tiene que ganar.
I grew up with a really strong feminist mother, activist mother. She's an immigration lawyer and professor and human rights activist. So I just grew up with a very vocal role model, I guess. And so I've always been, kind of mouthy and blunt in just my views. And I guess it comes out in my lyrics, So that's why, that's just where I come from.
How do you see the Latin music scene right now? Especially, all these up-and-coming independent bands are getting a little more attention. Has that been for you?
In New York, it's a very different situation than like in a city like Los Angeles. I'm not really familiar with Chicago, so I don't know what it's like in Chicago. But, New York, Pistolera is a kind of, we kind of stick out in a good way because there's not, the immigrant community in New York is so new that there haven't been, Mexican immigrants who have settled there and have time to have kids, who have grown up listening to American people like me, people that grew up listening to their parents' music and American music, and then start a band. And you have that in Los Angeles where there's generations of Mexicans and Mexican Americans, and Chicano culture is so strong. So I think it depends on which city you're talking about, but in general, there's definitely more women in Latin alternative music, which is awesome. Because I hope that one day I won't have to answer the question, what is it like to be a woman in Latin rock? Yeah.
Tell us more about your latest release.
We just finished our 2nd album. It's called En Este Camino, and it's going to be coming out on August 5th. And that's going to be in stores nationwide, so people should definitely look for that. They can find more info on our website at pistolera.net. And our first album, Siempre Hay Salida, is available now. You can buy it on iTunes and all the various things where you buy music. We have a MySpace, of course, which is myspace.com/pistoleramusic. And our website is pistolera.net. But definitely people should find us. You can just Google Pistolera and you'll find us. We're there. Errores what? Errores no eliminados. Saludos. Sandra de Pistolera.